my screen, or how does it work?
It should be yours. Hold on one second. All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you all. My name is Gloria. I'm part of the GetCoin events team. I just wanted to say congratulations to coming to the awards ceremony for the LUKSO Build Up #1 hackathon. And before we get started, I just wanted to take care of housekeeping. This session is going to be recorded, so you're more than welcome to watch this session again later if you would like. Feel free to say hi in the chat, congratulate the winners. Congratulations to all of y'all who participated as well. It was a really fun hackathon to be part of, and I really enjoyed your projects. With that, I'm going to hand it over to the LUKSO team. So I'll hand it over to Fabian, and we can go ahead and get started.
Yeah, hello, and happy and welcome everybody for our award ceremony of our first larger hackathon, and in our second hackathon actually. There was like a DEFCON 0, and now it's a DEFCON 1 here. Basically, we are presenting the winners today, and we had a lot of participants and a lot of good projects, and all in all, it was a very very fruitful hackathon. So hackathon recap, what happened. So we have a lot of projects to go through, so that's why we do need to speed things a little up. So we had 6 weeks of hackathon. It was quite a long hackathon, but we wanted, because we have specifically some tracks that are more focused on the tech and it's more specific. We have taken some more time to make it like not just like a quick and dirty project, but something that's also can be used long term. We had 11 bounties, 500,000 US dollar in LUKSE as a prize. And we had workshop sessions and office hour sessions explaining the tech, lots of signups, and 74 submitted projects. We had these different categories. They go from more specific to more open and generic. That's also reflected in the prices, because what we really valued is this more specific contributions. So everything, is surrounded around universal profiles, and social and DAOs was a very big topic as well, because that's something that like makes sense when you have profiles. You can also make DAOs and all the things that have to do with the creative economy, entertainment, music, art, gaming, and everything that's possible going forward. These specific bounties were a transaction relay service. That's specifically something to make the onboarding in the Web3 space easier. A token NFT wallet with a vault manager. So we have different kind of sub vaults where you store your tokens. A social recovery tool, very important, right? Especially because people are new to crypto. People are used to a recovery mechanism, password reset flow. A social recovery tool can give you that, just decentralized. A chat application, which was one of the not so good bounties an hour, and we get to this later. A social media feed, so anything that has to do with kind of like a decentralized Twitter or something in this direction. DAO and voting key manager for universal profile based DAOs. A universal profile can easily be a DAO if you just put a key manager, a DAO kind of proposal voting system in the front. And that's what people have been doing in this bounty specifically. And then we had open categories, anything generic around universal profiles, social DAOs, fashion, art, music, entertainment, and multiverse gaming, and obviously open, to anything that people want to submit. The prices were like 30,000, 20,000, and 10,000 for the specific bounties, and 12,000, 5,000, 3,000 for the open categories in LUKSE. Judges were myself, Marjorie, Alex, my former colleague from Ethereum, also today here, happily, Jake, who will come later, Hugo, who is our tech lead, leading all the development around universal profiles, Callum, backend engineer, and Jean and Yaman. Actually, you're called Ramen here. That's probably a autocorrect. So Yaman, you got just turned into Ramen. That's a funny one. So Yaman actually and John, they're both our smart contract engineers. Thanks to autocorrect, now you're ramen. We have, for all the people who participate, a NFT. So the first, second, and third prize get a uniquely AI generated NFT. And every participant gets a participant NFT, and the people who participated in the voting get a voting NFT on top of that. So nice little collectibles, soul-bound tokens, non-transferable NFTs, batches, earnables, however you want to call them, for the future. That shows that you were there at Build Up One. Let's go straight to the bounty prize winners, because we have quite a lot of projects, and I want to take some short time to present each project, and we will go through these projects, present them, have a little input from the judges if there's some opinions around that, and then on the end we allow winners to join the stage, have a say, what they think about the hackathon, what their thoughts was about the projects, and why they did certain things in the project. We have only a limited amount of time for this, so keep yourself short. And then we have a little Q&A session if there's any kind of community questions that you have, and that would close the ceremony. So no further ado, let's start with the universal profile tools or app tools. The transaction relay service, super important piece, right? It's about sending transactions to the network paid by a transaction relay service so that new users do not need to have this. The winner of the transaction relay service is the LUKSO relay service from Vlad. He is basically, he made a quite complex relay service. Gateway relay service is number 2 and Baton is number 3. So the LUKSO relay service from Vlad is a very interesting project because he combined a staking and reward system together with providing relay services, and also on the other hand, joining a relay service, and getting transactions paid for. It was a very interesting project because it used a number of sorry, it's a bit slow, hopefully loading. It uses a combination of a token and reward tokens that it gives out in combination with being basically a service provider and being the user of a relay service. So that could be kind of like a larger tool to create actually different kind of relay services that have their own way of how they pay for themselves and how they make money, plus they have a reward system and a payback system. What was interesting about this, that it's quite complex of how it's put together, and it also has this token economic component. That's what we all very liked, especially like the complexity of the project and the simpleness of how it's usable. We didn't have at the time integrated the ability that people could test these relay service within the browser extension. We just recently added the functionality that you add this. So people had to build their own little, dummy front page where they could test their transaction relay service. And he made a combination of like RLUKS and SLUKS, which is basically the staked LUKS and the reward LUKS. And all in all, that was a very well-executed project from a technical side, also from a LUKS side. So that's why we gave it the number 1 prize. The Gateway Relay Service was quite a creative project. And we liked this one and gave it a number 2 prize because it was quite creative in the way of how you can earn your contributions. So basically, the idea here is that you have a number of ways to earn credits to again get free transactions. So for example, you can sign up on Coinbase, get 100 credits, or you could watch a video and get some credits, and you can add multiple ways of earning your credits, which you then can use making transactions on the LUKSO blockchain. So we find this is was a very creative way of how you combine it. Obviously, there was quite a complex logic around here you can see like credits and ads and all of these things. I think that can be simplified because it was quite complex. But overall, the idea and the creativity was something that we really liked. And the third prize is the Baton relayer. There was quite a basic version of a relayer. So you connect your universal profile.
This is my submission.
You basically get a quota, and you can select the plan that you pay for, and then you just have transactions on the network. It was quite well executed. It was straightforward, literally fulfilled the bounty, but it was quite well done, and that's why we gave it the third prize. I want to give some time now, or some chance for the other judges to say a few things around these three projects and what they liked specifically about these three. Anyone has feedback, wants to chip in on
Sure.
feedback?
I'll jump in. So I think like it was really cool seeing these projects. It's nice. The first two winners tried some really interesting like business model structures, which is really cool to see, because experimenting with this kind of thing is how this is going to like work in the future. And the third was a really good example. I think this was probably technically a really good example, and you gave thought to things like how to queue transactions, because building a transaction relay service at scale is not an easy thing to do, because you have problems like nonces. So it was good to see that being thought and built into the application as well.
If I may, one of the things I liked about a few of those projects, I believe both the two champions had that, is that they had credit card integration, I believe via PayPal, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that is great, because it's a great way to introduce people, saying, look, all you need to do is pay like $5 per month, and you get X amount of transactions. And I thought that was very positive.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, having Stripe, credit cards, PayPal, all kinds of services. I mean, I think what I can see in the future is that a lot of the relay services give you free transactions or a free profile, and then make you pay like the month going forward. But this allows people to get into Web3, see why it makes sense, play around with these dApps, and after they already see there's a use for them, they're willing to pay a subscription fee. I think that's kind of how the internet started with these AOL CDs and free internet minutes. We will see a similar thing happening here, but this allows people to get in there, without the complexity of going to exchanges, KYC, all of this stuff, just getting going, but either using credit card or using one of the free services, or if you're like not old enough, you go you use the gateway relay service where you watch some videos. Yeah, overall,
also, Fabian, I will quickly go. So I think it's a super cool track, and the project are amazing. And also, we know that at the beginning it was a bit hard because the extension was not fully ready to test. So it took extra effort for all of you to make it work and try to integrate it. But it's also, as Karim said, it's not an easy thing to build with all this nonce management, and it was very nice to look at those very high quality projects and very well executed. So looking forward for what you will build next, and yeah, that would be very cool. So congrats.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll go next. Yeah, also think that it was really interesting the way they were trying to find of different business models around the relay service. So how people could get these different credits and quota, and also quite impressed by documentation that was written around the relay. So yeah, really congratulations to the winner.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. Move to next one. Sorry. So the next category, honorable mention, not to forget. Gasless relayer was also a really nice relayer. It was quite like a tight one between Baton and gasless relayer, because both of them kind of fulfilled the whole project. We on the end chose gasless relayer as the third prize, but also really well executed project that also kind of had the whole flow, paying having a quota, using this quota up. In this case, the quota was in Lux, which doesn't make a lot of sense because people don't understand that, right? I think a number like gas or some kind of credit system is a better unit to use for a relay service, but yeah, definitely honorable mention, gasless relayer, also an amazing project. So token and NFT wallets. The purpose of a wallet is basically, you want to interact with all of the tokens and the NFTs, that will be on LUKSO in the future. We gave it a twist because universal profiles should not just store everything on the same universal profile, but there's something called a vault. And a vault is kind of like a mini version of a universal profile without the kind of profile picture data. And it has all the same functionality like a profile has. It can do literally anything, right? It just can own things, it execute smart contracts, all of these things. And vaults will allow you to hold assets in different vaults for different purposes, but also to restrict certain applications to use your profile, but maybe just with a specific vault, right? For example, if you want to have a game, let's say you're playing some kind of decentralized game, what you would do is the game generates a key, controls now your profile, but you're restricted to a certain vault. So all the swords and all the stuff that you will earn in the game, you just put that into that vault, and you have, you don't need to have the fear that that game with this key, empties all of your other balances of all of your tokens and NFTs. So vaults kind of a way to restrict things, but also to sort them. Actually, Alex, when I remember back in the day when we built the Mist browser, we allowed people to create these kind of multi-sig smart contracts, and that was the way of how people should manage all of the different assets and so on. It's in a way quite a similar thing, except it's not multi-sig by default. Could be something that you could put in front, but yeah, very much in that direction as well. So Marble Wallet here is number one. Was quite an interesting project, Lux Wallet and Valu. So let's go through the winners. Marble Wallet was quite sophisticated. It was a complex, good-looking app, integrated NFTs, integrated tokens, had a full-on vault manager built in.
A project that I built for the Lux.
And what we also really liked is that he gave a lot of feedback, and on to us, to the team, what he liked, what could be improved. He literally built a full-on wallet, so very impressive in terms of complexity, quality, and everything. Also presentation-wise, really well done. Definitely, for us, the number one clear winner in this case. You could own NFTs, have these vaults, move things between vaults, create vaults, and all of these things. So definitely a project that I very likely assume we will see more of in the future. Maybe you want to give a short round, or we want to go just to the end, or you want to give a bit of feedback just on that one?
I'm happy to say 2 words. I think it was very, very well executed, especially the vault section. It's not so easy to grasp, and it was very well executed. So we were very impressed. So yeah, congrats for getting it right. And it's a cool project, and I'm also looking forward for the improvement and what will come next. So yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, I agree. It didn't feel at all like a hackathon project. It felt like a feature complete product that could be live and beautiful.
Yeah.
And I hope it does. I hope we'll be developing it in the future.
Absolutely, I think that this will definitely happen. Also, I really liked you could even transfer the whole ownership of vaults. So imagine you're really good at the game, and the game has collected a bunch of stuff out of the game. You can just literally transfer the vault, and the vault could even function as
Fabian, we cannot hear you. I don't know if it's just me.
Yeah, I think we cannot hear you, Fabian.
Yeah, hear and see you anymore.
Yeah, I can't either. I can't see him. So Fabian, if you can, you gotta.
Yeah.
Oh,
There
I
you
don't
go.
know
Now we
why.
can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know why it completely muted me here. I don't know what happened here. Okay, let's go back to this. So Lux Wallet, basically, there was a tricky one between Lux Wallet and Lux Wallet and the third price. We decided going for this. It's a port of MetaMask to integrate universal profiles, and a universal profile browser extension is not a wallet per se. It's your controller to control your profile, and that's kind of like a modified version of MetaMask that can control a profile. Also has different assets and vaults, and integrating this into a MetaMask-like wallet was quite an interesting one, because we didn't expect a browser extension. We actually expected apps, so that was quite a positive surprise, and we thought it was a really cool idea to do that, because you can always authorize any application from your profile, meaning that application holds a key. You just authorize it in your profile, and then that wallet functions equally as your profile and as the other apps as well. So we really like that project from that creativity. Also, he made a little landing page and so on. So that was a quite cool project. Maybe one remark: he put the accounts above the profile. We want to go the other way around. Keys shouldn't matter anymore in the future. So if you look here, right, there's the account, and then there's the profile is like after edit, and here is the profile below. Right, accounts, people don't need to know about the keys anymore. It's literally a thing of the past now. Any comment to this before I go to the next one?
Yeah, I think what was great is also how the tools were used on the wallet section. Like all the features displayed on the UI were using all the tools, ERC75JS, LSP Factory. So it was very great to see how all the tools were integrated to build like a full-on feature product. So yeah, really great job on that.
Yeah, I'll just add quickly that it was really cool to see another browser extension. So the other two prizes were both like web apps, but having a wallet as a browser extension makes sense as well. So you could have your universal profile controller and a wallet as well. So it's really cool to see. So congratulations to all the winners.
All right. If there's no other one, then let's move to the Wallo app. And Wallo app was, visually good looking, but not that like the number one. But what we really liked, it was also complete, full on wallet experience, including assets. It was a bit more on the technical side for the user, but had the full flow of connecting your profile, loading everything in, displaying your assets, displaying your collectibles, being able to transfer them to different vaults. So technically wise, well done project, quite impressive. We thought it was really, worth it, and quite a good project. So has everything, plus uses the complexity of the vaults and so on. So that was quite impressive. Any feedback from the other judges? All right, then let's move to the third one. Oh, yeah. Let's move to the recovery, to the social recovery prices. And social recovery is a very interesting project, because it allows you to basically, if you lose access to all of your devices that have control over your universal profile, you can recover that, either by asking your friends to recover it, or by having different devices or services that can recover your profile. What we really liked here is people were quite creative with not just thinking about, hey, adding your friends, but also adding, Authy app and other apps, that can recover your services. So we were quite surprised, and we thought that recovery.social, which has already an amazing domain name, is a very great #1 winner. It was well executed, good looking. The video was a bit fast, so when he was running through the examples, we had to literally slow down all the time to to see what was happening under the hood. But it built the full social recovery part. What was a bit an interesting choice that you basically, when you recover, you create a new profile, and then you give this new profile access to your old profile. That will be simplified in the future when you are able to add read-only profiles to your extension, because then you can just generate new keys that you give to these recovery services. Really interesting that he built a kind of protocol where you can attach multiple services. So you can even attach different kind of applications. For example, he has these 2 people, but he also then adds different kind of services. For example, the author recovery services or passkey recovery service. And there's different kind of secret storing services in the internet, and they can also nicely work of holding a key. As long as you have still that device that holds the 2-factor authentication of the Authy protocol, that could be it could be even a one-of-one recovery service. So gone are the days of, hey, have you written down these 12 words, and God forbid you have lost your device. Things are now basically going towards what we know from Web 3, from Web 2, but we can do even more interesting and complex things in Web 3. But really nice also, it's all decentralized, right? Prize number 2, or maybe you want to say something to...
Yeah, I can add here. Yeah, so I agree with what Fabian said, especially that LSP 11 is quite new. And it was amazing to see you integrating Guardians, not just as profile, but as services. And it was also cool to see you not extending the contract, just a dashboard for managing the LSP 11. So yeah, it was really cool. It's the type of service that I might use in the future. So yeah, congrats and well done.
Yeah, I also want to add that it was cool because, as you say, Fabian, it was creative in a way. It's easy, it's simple, it works, and it was not like, oh, I add Guardian and there is this threshold. And UI is easy. It makes it easy, and it was, I think, a smart idea to use different accounts and not just share it with someone else. So well executed as well, easy, fast. Congrats. Nice project.
Absolutely.
Congratulations on that. It was quite challenging. It's quite a tricky field, and especially the way the flow was made to recover the account. It was quite intuitive. So yeah, congratulations on it.
I mean, in the future version of the standard, we will remove the process ID. So then things will be even simpler. You can literally, you don't even need to add this kind of process ID name to it. LUKSO or LUKSO, however we spell that, was a very similar idea, very similar executed, that not just friends, but also different kind of services can recover your profile. It was a bit more complex on the UX part, and that kind of made us choose it as the 2 rather than number 1. But it was quite well executed. Had the whole flow also was quite well looking. These simple wizard flows that people are used to. You can actually sign up to different services that are later able to recover your profile. So like Magic Link and so on. So definitely also a really great project. Any feedback from the other judges?
I really like the simplicity of that one, in which it felt simply like somewhere you go, you create you create a profile and recover it. I really liked it. It felt like a tool, a one-purpose tool.
Yeah. Also, LSP11 multi-factor recovery of LUKSO profile. quite a cool subtitle. Multi-factor recovery. I mean, like one of the things that we would like to have for profiles is that, out of the box, they come with some kind of like recovery service built in. That might be, one of these tools that already can be like standardized added. But it's, yeah, very cool to see this happening. And it's kind of like, one process that you run through.
Yeah, it was really cool. Also the different integrations. It was really innovative. And yeah, I really like the flow and the step for approving the Guardian from the point of view of the user. That really makes really like from the user perspective, it was really nice. And even the steps, like showing the demo, that was great.
Yeah. So we have to also mention that, like, really often in the demo, when people confirm transaction, there's a blank screen. That's actually a bug. So you actually see the actions that you're doing there. There's some animation not loading. So everything is here still, cutting edge development, including our process extension. So things happen like this. So it's not blank. Yeah, people shouldn't confirm blank windows. Just that being said. And number 3, and third prize went to Angel. Angel was pretty much a recovery service in the same way. It was less, simple from the user interface perspective, but it had also all the steps, all the logic being built. It was more on the nerdy side, let's say, but it definitely, also fulfilled all the purposes, fully functional recovery tool. And the beauty of this social recovery is that there's literally plenty of things that you could, do. You could even have one of these recovery guardians being another smart contract that has its own logic of how it works. Could be even a DAO. There could be a recovery DAO, right? If people want to make one. That has whatever process that you can recovery profile. So there's really cool new things that can be now done that were just simply not possible back in the day with simple, public key accounts. So we will have a very interesting future of many creative ways of how you recover your profile going forward. Okay, let's move to the next subcategory. We have basically social recovery. We had the transaction relay service. We had the wallet, and now we will have the open category around universal profile tools. And the first prize here goes to something very creative, which is kind of an AR NFT placement experience. And it was quite creative. It was one of the only AR kind of submissions, and it's basically a tool where you can load in your NFTs, that you own and that you bought and you create, and you can place them in AR around in your room and put objects wherever you like them in your space. That's obviously super cool in the future, when we have AR glasses, but we really like the creativity of the idea, something like a bit out of the box, novel. I mean, they ran a lot over like backends, APIs that scan the profiles and feed them back into the app. Obviously, in the future, lots of this could be directly done by reading from the smart contract right from within the app. But the whole like NFT placement, using all of our LUKSO colors even was quite funny to see. Any other feedback from the other judges?
Yeah, can go quickly. Also, I think it's nice to see that the project goes slightly outside of the web and JavaScript world and see it with other tech stack and other tools. Because yeah, especially AR and all those game engine, there are lots of things that can be built, and it's nice to see that this project was tackling it on a different angle and not creating a new NPM or JavaScript tool. So that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's a really creative project. It was really unique out of all of them that were submitted. It's really cool to see like a new tool which is helping, like, you know, fuzzy the boundary between like the digital and physical worlds, and it's LUKSO specific as well, which is really cool. So I think it's definitely something that could be extended further in the future and new functionality added on. A cool project.
I mean, definitely for mixed reality, the Oculus Quest 2 has already a bit of mixed reality. It's black and white, but the new Quest will have color mixed reality. So then you can sit in your living room, you know, place all your NFTs around you and just, you know, work on your virtual working desk. So definitely something that's not that far out to make a lot of sense. So number 2 is MuseBoard. MuseBoard was a quite extensive, you know, design project. The technical part was a bit lagging behind, and that's why we couldn't give it the first prize. But it was quite extensive, you know, design throughout. It's kind of like a Pinterest for NFTs. The idea is you can create your own, you know, Pinterest for NFTs that you kind of like curate, and by basically being an NFT curator, you can basically, you know, like give access, okay, basically show people what could be interesting, you know, all of this new digital art. And this actually is standard, you know, that we are planning to build in the future, which is a buyable NFT. That means you could literally buy an NFT on the NFT smart contract itself. And if you do that, basically this MuseBoard, your Pinterest MuseBoard, turns into a marketplace out of the box. And because it's built into the NFTs, you can even make, you know, a royalty distribution to the creators, including the person that, you know, creates the board, very easy possible. So that kind of fits really well into this, you know, future vision we have around the standards, and it basically makes something that's kind of can start out as a collection idea into something that's a truly decentralized marketplace. So very cool, also executed from the whole look and feel. There was some very basic app, which was not the full design implemented, but yeah, definitely a great project and number 2 for us. Any feedback from the other judges?
This one looked very Pinteresting. I liked it. Yeah, it was very, very interesting, very fun to like just browse around. I had a question. Are like where did those NFTs that he is using as an example, are those like real NFTs from LUKSO or just NFTs from OpenSea?
There, I mean, maybe like later they can come and say, but I think this is just example NFTs they found in the internet, or maybe just pictures that, you know, not even NFTs, not on LUKSO yet. I mean, this is on LUKSO. There's only the dematerialized NFTs. There's quite a lot of them, but they don't look like this. I mean, if you know that the interesting thing is we have like around 15,000 users on universalprofile.cloud. If you turn, you know, LUKSO mainnet on and you would have an app like this, you basically instantly have 15,000 profiles, you know, and then, you know, them starting to create, and you have pretty fast, a very quite full app, I would assume. Okay, any other feedback? All right, then let's go to number 3. The number 3 is Power Up, and Power Up is basically more. It's more a developer tool. This is also in the LUKSO tools, the UP tools section. So literally, this is the only really tool in that section. But it's basically the idea that you have a tool that can allow you to easily, you know, load universal profile data, deploy universal profile, update universal profile data. So we have a library called ES725JS that does this, and actually this is using that under the hood. But that's kind of an even more a different layer of convenience wrapper to basically wrap, like, you know, ES725JS and LSP factory into a tool that kind of like makes interaction with profiles even simpler for developers, right? Like making it out of 2 lines, you know, or 3 lines, maybe 1 line. Especially updating is can be a bit more tedious. I mean, one recommendation I would give for the future, try to be more lean. LSP factories, for example, is something that I probably wouldn't add to this library, because it's meant to be more like a kind of backend large deployer tool. It contains all the smart contracts and everything, so it's not exactly the small tool that you want to integrate. But the pieces that you need could easily be extracted, and put into a tool directly, for example. But yeah, definitely a great tool for making using universal profiles even simpler for developers, which literally then will be just get profile and update profile. Any other feedback?
Yeah, I think with this one, it's really nice to see like the sort of React framework, or just like front-end JavaScript frameworks that integrate with universal profiles, because particularly web development is very focused on just speed and putting together websites quickly and making it as easy as possible for developers, which is what this does, and adding things like this that it can get as close to drag and drop for developers as web development can really get, which is helpful. And this is how like more people can build more applications in the LUKSO ecosystem. So I think it's a valuable project.
I agree.
Yeah, I thought the same. I think it's an excellent tool to foster people to develop on universal profile, because it's like making things easier for devs. It made me think a bit of this tool called WAGMI, but for UP. So yeah, it was really, really nice to see that. Yeah, really congratulations.
All right. So I just want to check in quickly. How are we with time, Jonathan? Maybe we have to speed things up a little bit because we still have a few categories to go.
Yep, I think we're good. We're 1 hour in.
We are at
we're good.
All right. Okay,
like
cool.
at the halfway
Well,
point.
I try to make it a bit shorter. So
yeah.
The next category, I mean, first of again, we have HoloView, MuseBot, and PowerUp, but the next category will be social and DAOs. And the interesting thing is, like with universal profiles, there's just like so many things that are like far more social now, right? In Ethereum right now, in the current blockchain space, everybody runs around with keys, so you're quite an unknown, anonymous user. And platforms like OpenSea may do this by creating a centralized profile on top of this, where you link your key that like constantly changes under the hood. If people lose their things and replace them, and like your blockchain based account is never really the relevant one. That changes with universal profiles, and therefore also decentralized social application and DAOs are far more important, right? Because now you literally can have a DAO that can have members that are all profiles, that all look like something, that all have a level of reputation or visibility, and are not just like random addresses that maybe somebody like clues onto the Twitter. So one of the things was first the chat apps, then we go to the DAO key manager. Oh wait, the chat app is a specific that's a specific category. We were only able to give a third prize because the bounty was more about using a decentralized protocol that uses encryption, or a decentralized messaging protocol, where then you use your universal profile to generate a key, add this key to your profile, and then you can sign and encrypt these messages and pass them over this decentralized protocol. What you could get out of this is a decentralized chat app that has message verification because every message is signed and it's fully encrypted. Sadly, people made a chat app in a smart contract, and that's not exactly the right way to do it. Like, let this be a big learning. You do not want to make a chat app in a smart contract, because that would literally mean that you pay for every single message that you write. And you also write it into a smart contract readable by everyone. So a blockchain is not a great database for quick message communication, so don't do that. You want to think of like a system that runs off-chain. In fact, besides the universal profile and the encryption keys, nothing needs to be on the blockchain. However, we gave a third prize to Bitvia because they made a more extensive application where they also integrated, ideas of token economics and gated communities or token gated communities and parts of DAO things in their application, which we really thought like was worth giving a prize for. The messaging protocol and all of the under the hood things, obviously, you guys should definitely like rethink this and change this, because smart contract databases for chats is not a good idea. But overall, it was definitely worth giving a prize, and that's why we like couldn't give a second and a first prize, but we could give a third prize in the chat app category because it didn't really fulfill the bounties, as we described it. Any other feedback from other people? All right. Okay. Yeah. In this case, a little bit of a it was a bit of a surprise for us seeing this. However, there is a honorable mention. Rishtera actually integrated universal profiles as a lock-in system into the Matrix client, but he did not on the end submit his project, and it was a more shallow integration. It was still, however, the probably most close to the bounty work done. And that's why we definitely want to mention it. So basically, he used the Matrix clients, he used the universal profile as an authenticator, and he used on the identity server of the Matrix client, he checked that the universal profile actually, signed a message and therefore authenticated himself. He could basically now modify the Matrix client's interface to, integrate, profile pictures and usernames and all of the stuff. So that literally would create a full-on decentralized chat application, on universal profiles or with universal profiles as your account. Sadly, didn't submit, and but we definitely hope that he will do more work on this because it definitely went in the right direction. All right, let's get to the next application, which is the social media feeds. And here we were actually quite surprised with a quite cool project called LUKSO. So LUKSO basically made a project that allowed you to just search up any kind of universal profile and see their activity and see what they are doing right now. Because every universal profile fires events for every execution they do. So you can basically simply, decode what's happening, right? Either they're transferring some tokens or they're receiving something or they're doing something. Basically, Alex, if I think about the Mist browser back in the day, where our biggest problem was that the normal EOA accounts didn't have any ability to show past transactions. One of the reasons why we also did the smart contract-based wallets was to have some ability to show what you receive and what you send. That's kind of like this on steroids, because now you can literally see any execution, any arbitrary execution. And basically, if people in the future, like things, likes please not on the blockchain, but somewhat like it as maybe a off-chain and somewhat kind of referenceable, or if there's some kind of decentralized follower system, or there's some kind of decentralized posts or whatever people do, that would be really cool, if you can see this. The other thing they integrated is actually a decentralized post messaging system. Basically, what they do is they store posts on a decentralized storage network, and they have a timestamper contract where they make an entry and you can basically write posts. I'm not sure if I can see this now. You can write posts, but you can also follow people, and see what's happening. The also important thing about this is that people have to learn that when they have a blockchain-based profile and they attach their face to it and they do things on the blockchain, obviously everybody can see that, right? So people have to learn, if you want to be anonymous, make a profile that doesn't have your face on it in your name, right? If you want to be public, and you want to make statements, your universal profile is your best friend, because that's literally things that people can follow and see. So really amazing project. Maybe your other judges have some feedback on that, but we were, definitely impressed.
Yes, amazing project. I think it connects everything super well, and even in the logs, it checks the address, the name of the token, but it like I think it's you got it very well, and it opens a lot of doors, and yeah, just also you got the community prize, so we're not the only one to think it's an amazing project. So I think it shows that yeah, you build something really cool. So keep going, and looking forward to also work together and see how we can make this better. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was a brilliant project. It was showing something quite new, I think, and like the UI was great and the user experience was really good. And I think it gave quite a like almost a Web 2 Twitter-like feel to universal profiles and blockchain experience, which just doesn't exist. That good user experience of blockchain, and that's like the goal of what we're slowly moving towards. So it's really cool to see these projects and projects like this. So.
And the
yeah, very well
interesting
done.
thing is, the more you standardize, the more, I mean, obviously token NFT transfers are standardized, but the more other things like are standardized, like for example, interacting, attaching followers, or interacting with DAOs or making proposals on DAOs, interfaces like this can all decode this, and make it transparent to people what's happening on the blockchain. Not just in an Etherscan way, but in a way that people can actually understand. So we're happy with this.
Hey everyone.
So number 2 went to El Dario El Diario, your diary. The interesting part of this is, I mean, even though he did everything in a smart contract, basically meaning posts, likes, and all of these things, which is not the way you should do it, because don't use the blockchain as a database. It's expensive, it's slow. That's not the right way. There's better ways to like move that off chain. But what's interesting about this project is that it really had so much. It had quite the whole complexity and the whole like depth of this. He literally integrated subscribing, posting, liking. I mean, literally everything a social network could do. He integrated into this app. So that was quite impressive to see this happening. Everything is on chain. There's a lot of things you can move off chain here, but just link and secure them on chain in a different way. But it was definitely quite comprehensive, and we thought this deserves the second prize because it's literally a full-on social network, mini version of a social network with like a lot of things, including posting tags and liking profile and subscriptions and everything. So that was definitely something that was comprehensive and impressive. Any other feedback? All right. Okay, then let's move on. Feedhead is the number 3rd, and Feedhead is a quite interesting take on a kind of post system. In this case, so basically what he used LSP8, which is the LUKSO version of ES721, right? The cleaned up, better token standard version of 721. And basically what he created is each LSP8 contract he created then has different IDs that you can issue, and each ID references a separate blog post. So he basically kind of made, he used the LSP8 NFT as kind of a registry for blog posts. So you can make your own feed, and within that you can post different feeds. It's, I'm not sure if like you using LSP8 is the best idea for a feed system. That could be probably be done a bit more efficient in a custom smart contract. But the idea was quite creative. The way of how he did it, the execution, everything looks quite interesting. You could basically kind of clone templates and mint your own spaces, how he called them, and then like post message within this feed. And we thought it was quite like creative and interesting and well done. So like a well-deserved third prize for us. Any other feedback? All right, then let's move on. The next category is the DAO voting key manager, so DAO tools that I was speaking about. Prize number one goes to dApp, and it was basically a full-on app to create a DAO, right? You can basically create a DAO. It deploys everything from like your from your DAO key manager to. I always try to skip forward in the video, but it doesn't work here. So basically, you can assign a certain token that will be the one that governs this DAO. You can deploy your own DAOs. We really like the complexity of how it was done. Obviously, integrating the universal profiles, icons, because your DAO is the universal profile itself, so it has everything universal profiles plus unlimited amount of storage that you can add things to, which basically makes this quite an interesting DAO. He used even LSP7 for the vote contracts. So all in all, a quite interesting project. That contains the whole the whole stack. You have the key manager, UP, a time lock, and a governor before. I mean, in the future, improvement-wise, probably things can be stacked into a customized key manager that does the voting and everything. And improvements on the interface in terms of explaining what's happening rather than just addresses. But this was definitely a project that we all really liked. Any feedback from the other judges?
Yeah, we'll go quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, go on, Yemen, if you want.
Yeah, okay, I will go really quick. So I really like this one, especially the design and the user experience. It was really great. Also, it was great seeing the execution parameters associated with the proposal name and description. Like it could be an advanced view for the pro users. I also liked how he created an extension for the LSP7 contract, it was LSP7 votes. So yeah, it was a cool project. Well done and congrats.
Yeah, I would say the same. It was really quite impressive technically. There was a lot of effort put on the contract, like extending from Open Zeppelin and using LSP7 for the governance token. So yeah, it was really a very great usage on the smart contract side, and the UI was really nice. In the UI, ERC725JS was used everywhere, so it was really a full-on app that was using all the tools. Yeah, so it was a very great submission. Really, congratulations.
Absolutely, yeah. A very important proposal, yeah. A very important proposal. All right, let's move on. Prize number 2 goes to Keys Protocol, which is also a DAO manager. There was also quite impressive, a really fun demo from our LUKSO community, long-term LUKSO community. People within the Keys Protocol are definitely been around for a while. Okay, now it's going. And it's basically like a full-on DAO, key manager. Basically, you can give permissions, have a full-on voting, add different people to be part, of your universe profile DAO, and yeah, execute proposals. The interface, I believe, can be a bit improved, but it's definitely quite, in terms of like information detail and everything, quite extensive and quite impressive. And definitely a very good project. It was pretty close with the first prize. So, happy to see our community and our long-term community, really digging into, the LUKSO tech and building things in that space. Any other proposals? Any other proposals? We are at the DAO, so make proposals. Any other comments?
Yeah, I would say also for this one, it was, yeah, it has a good design and user experience. I also liked how they used the LSP2 standard. Also, they had a great documentation. It was like a little bit complex, but yeah, it was done in a professional way. So congrats and well done.
Yeah, same. Very nice MVP. Yeah, and really great, as Yamen said, on using LSP2 for the different permission key, like some custom permissions, and yeah, and really nice also the proposal templates. So yeah, congratulations.
All right, let's move to the third prize. The DAO manager, that was, we were a bit like, torn between this and another one. The DAO manager is quite interesting because he really had some very interesting ideas of how he used ERC-75Y keys and the storage to store the proposals. So he literally almost created his own little, LSP2 based proposal, to store proposals and voting proposals. Is it this? Oh yeah, exactly. It's this one. Let's go. Yeah, I think this is the one. Yeah. So interface wise, it was a bit more technical and so on, but definitely interesting to you see it with the left side with the proposal keys, and how he actually used makes his own custom array keys and so on to store proposals and so on. So that was quite interesting. It was a strong use of ES75Y on our LSP standards, especially LSP2. So and made a full-on project work where you could vote, on tokens based on tokens on the DAO. Any other feedback? All right. I mean, that was a quite technical one. I think he even explains, how he stores the different proposals. I mean, because we literally have a key value store, you can make quite complex things that how you can store these proposals. So you can store these things, like in all kinds of different ways. Slice your bytes in whatever ways you want. So that's quite. There's a lot of things that can be done just on that key value store in your profile alone. Okay, let's move to the next category. Exactly what we did here is yeah. So we had the DAO manager and we had the other DAO manager, which is the DAO voting. We actually giving 2 third prizes on this one because they were pretty close, right? One had the in the proposal and the more technical details, and what we really liked here as well, that this was also a fully executed DAO key manager. I mean, look-wise, both of them are a bit, more on the nerdy side, but this also had the full-on execution, voting and everything. The other one was a bit more, creative on the LSP side. This one was quite extensive on, the way of how the contracts were done. So we decided that we give 2 third prizes on this one. All right, so happy two third prizes. So I've won and 2 3 third prizes. Let's move to the next category. The open category prize, social DAOs. The first prize goes to LUKSO Oracle or Lux Oracle. That was an integration using Chainlink to basically verify your Twitter account and attach it to a profile. It was quite an interesting approach, using profiles, using Chainlink, and kind of like verifying things. So we thought like the integration on Chainlink was a really good approach here. The complexity, obviously, on these later categories go a bit, they're a bit less, than the first categories, where also the prices are higher. But we really like the Chainlink usage here, and the connection of a Web 2 kind of account with your new decentralized account. All right. Any feedback on this? Or
Yeah, I think this was a cool project. I think it's interesting, like joining the Web 2 and Web 3 worlds, and having that like a verified Twitter account linked to your universal profile is a nice way of linking like reputation into universal profiles as well, which is something that's definitely going to be needed for the future, so that you know that the profile you're sending your assets to is a good one. So it's cool. So congratulations.
All right, let's move on. The second prize goes to LUKSO Reader. I mean, that was quite a simple app, but it was a really interesting use case, basically storing your RSS feed entries in, or like the RSS feed that you subscribe to in an array in your profile data. So basically it uses a simple array key to store your RSS feed in your profile. Totally doable. You can literally you just update two keys, array length and the array element with some kind of URL of your RSS feed, and then you have a website that can just read that out, and you basically have a decentralized RSS feed that doesn't require login. Obviously, just your profile. I mean, RSS feeds are like XML. It's a bit of a thing of the past, but we really like that kind of the combination of profiles and RSS feeds. And if this is done, well in a well-looking thing, that is really a great way to store your own RSS feeds decentralized, and even have that like public, visible to other people.
Don't bad talk your RSS feeds, Fabian. I still love them, and I still hope they make a comeback.
Yeah, I mean, I'm opening my Feedly once in a while too. It's definitely like for news reading and so on, a cool thing. So I mean, having a decentralized version of that, definitely not a bad idea. All right, any other comments? All right. dApps as a third prize. The looks were a bit funny, but basically it's a tool to kind of create posts and follow other creators based on universal profiles. It was kind of a simple app. I mean, all of these last apps are a bit more on the simple side, but basically you can link these universal profiles. You can basically follow different kind of profiles using a smart contract. In this case, I think also most of the things were done in a smart contract. Any other feedback on the third prize on our dApps? I mean, also one feedback here, he used the Block Scout API, so you can also just read from the smart contract directly. No need to get the Block Scout API. Yeah, and the colors are quite funny. Any other feedback?
Yeah, just similar note to the Lux Oracle. I think it's a good, at least like first attempt at like tackling the reputation issue, and having some sort of verification of on-chain profiles is an interesting and difficult problem to tackle. So it's definitely interesting and good first steps to, and hopefully can continue development on this.
True. Awesome. Okay, let's get to the next category. So fashion, art, music, entertainment. So now we're moving to the big categories, that are a bit more, a collection of things. And here we have an interesting NFT generator project. And what we really liked here is the creativity that's used in the interface. Sadly, they were not able to fully build that into the code. So what they did is they had a bare bone version of the application that was, not the full, UI, but they had the full UI done. And basically, what they would need to do is combine, their Figma with the logic code that they have done. What we really liked here is that it's actually a very creative way of creating an NFT. If you think about it, it's like why it should be always this form, that you click from the top down. Why not like making a crazy dashboard with a bunch of dials? And I think like this is quite interesting, like to make creative looking NFTs, where you can enter different things, create different, like type of or tokens and NFTs, and Actually, it's a tokens, not an NFT. Sorry, tokens. So you basically can issue different artist tokens. Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is a LSP7 ERC20 like token can be used as an NFT the moment you just set the decimals to 0 and it's non-divisible. That's especially useful for like things like digital NFT things. It's actually not important to have a unique ID, especially for digital object. That's more relevant for physical object that all deteriorate in in different times. Digital objects mostly stay exactly the same forever. So we are using, for example, heavily LSP7 / an ERC20 kind of token just for the whole digital fashion NFTs, because you just need to own one of the units, right? It doesn't matter which ID of the unit you own, and it's more expensive to transfer the IDs. Yeah, very creative solution on the dashboard, interacting with these kind of tokens. A lot of how we call them cultural currencies will be the tokens of the future. There will be a lot more tokens that have to do with community, fandom, and interest groups, rather than like money, DeFi, and things that are like more tradable and valuable on that front. Any feedback on this one? Okay, let's move to the next open category. Creative artist token generator. Okay, Endless was a quite interesting project, and it's actually only one. Sorry, it's the only one that.
Imagine you could put your voice into a ring. Let me
that
show
uses
you
a phygital,
Check
a
out this
physical
ring.
digital.
It's a physical piece of jewelry that has an NFC chip inside
And as
of it.
described, and I
If
hope
I
you
put
can
my
hear that.
phone close to it, look what it does. Just confirm.
Okay, basically, in short, he has an NFC ring, and you can attach this to a phone which holds a voice message. So the idea is that you have this ring and it contains a certain specific message that may be relevant to you. It's like a very fitting project to the LUKSO universe. Also in the terms of how they present themselves and so on. So we thought it was very like kind of LUKSO-esque. It's an interesting idea to combine your memories, NFTs, and physical objects. And actually want to completely reproduce this ring. Obviously, building hardware is not easy. But yeah, we thought it was quite fitting into the LUKSO universe. And it was also the only project that used physical, kind of like a hardware approach, not just a software approach. Any feedback on this project? All right, then let's move to the third prize. And the third prize was LUKSO Gift. And LUKSO Gift is basically a donation, a donation tool. So you can create an event or a purpose, and you can, ask for donations around this purpose and this event. They made a full-on presentation around it and built a basic version of the application where you can create this event, or you can be a donor, and then you can donate to different charities. And it's definitely kind of a social approach, and obviously something that totally makes sense going forward, because we will see a lot more things that are around social and around purpose-based tokens, NFTs, and all of these things. So they also built an AR part where these NFTs can be exhibited in AR. So the interesting part also is that we have a lot of projects that came together, created a diverse group of people from all over the world, to connect, and build all their part in this new endeavor. So very, very interesting to see these things happening. Any any feedback on that project? All right. Okay, let's move to the next one, the dolphin. Yeah, app, torn, endless. Let's move to the next category, multiverse in gaming. So here I hoped a little bit more, game development tools to come out of it. There was one, that's why he's the second prize. We didn't feel there was enough sophistication in these projects to give a first prize. That's why we chose here only a second prize. But basically, what he did is a integration into Unity, where you can read out a universal profile, and even I think even create it from within Unity. It's a bit more complex task because Unity uses C or C++ to create these things. So integrating universal profiles, readability, and all of the things into Unity. That's exactly what I want to see going forward. There's also tools for Unreal Engine already to interact with blockchain. So the more we have these kind of Web3 kind of tools in these game engines, the more we really see games integrating blockchain-based profiles and NFTs and tokens and protocols and DAOs, and that literally then creates the metaverse that everybody is talking about. So definitely a good number 2. I hope that he extends this more and makes it into a open source library that people can use, and it becomes a tool for people to interact with Unity. We also have a Unity plugin that's something that you can find on our GitHub. That's a bit more extensive than this one. That's also something that's open source, can be extended over time. So if you're a Unity developer and you want to make some cool stuff with universal profile integration, hop on our GitHub, check it out and help us extend this. The LUKSO Phaser plugin, that was a difficult one to judge because there was no video and no description. But after we dived into the code, we actually thought it was quite a cool third prize, because there's a game engine called Phaser, which is an HTML5 mobile game framework, and he built basically a plugin to allow universal profiles to be read as your profile within this game engine. And after digging through all of his code and understanding his plugin, it's a cool combination of pulling in the data from a universal profile, loading into the plugin. So basically it creates this Phaser plugin, called LUKSO plugin, that then gets profile data and other data that can be used within the game engine. So obviously you could run around as yourself, in your little HTML5 game. So it's quite cool, impact wise. Could be fun to see, people integrating universal profiles into the game. The documentation was a little bit missing, like no README, no video, but it definitely technically makes sense. So that's why we gave it a third prize. Any feedback to the last 2?
Yeah, just I think with these game engine plugin things, they're maybe not the flashiest things for the people watching at home. It's not the flashiest thing to show off and look at, but these things are essential for enabling better integration between universal profiles and video games. So these are really important projects that these things continue and we get more of them, and having an open source ecosystem of these things is going to be really important for the future.
I see in the chat a lot of LED font fans here. Awesome. So let's move towards the previous last, I think. Yeah, actually the last category. We made it to the end. The blue sky, basically, where you could submit anything that you thought kind of might be related to LUKSO. And one interesting project, and here again, we didn't feel that there was really too much sophisticated projects. That's why we didn't feel it was worth a first prize, but we started with a second and a third prize. And the second prize goes to LuxSense, which is basically and it is quite a cool project actually. It's a LUKSO license management tool. Oh, sorry, it's a license management tool built on on LUKSO and LUKSO based LSP7 on LSP8 NFTs actually. And basically, you can issue different kind of licenses. It's actually LSP7. Actually, both LSP8 and LSP7. So you can issue licenses and buy these licenses and sell these licenses and verify that the license is valid. So that was quite a cool project. I mean, definitely, blue sky, right? And here you can, for example, upload a Fong, right, that you create, and then create it, and then have T version out of it, and then get even votings on this, and yeah, sell this. So definitely an awesome project. Hisam Samiri, sorry, amazing LUKSense contribution here. Any other feedback? Here you see, by the way, the licenses that you can have and download your different files for the licenses. All right, then let's move to the last winner, the third prize of the last category. It's WordUp. So WordUp is a plugin that allows you to log in with your universal profile into WordPress. And that's quite cool. It's quite a useful thing to do. I mean, WordPress, still around, like RSS feeds, and it's still quite big too. And we like this because it's obviously useful. It needs to be worked out a bit more on the integration side. When, for example, there is something called sign in with Ethereum. That's something that the Universal Browser extension already out of the box supports. That's something you guys should use here in your signing process. So that's definitely an improvement for the future. But the ability to log into WordPress websites using a universal profile is quite a cool thing to see. And this is definitely a good contribution to the PHP world of the past. No, it's definitely a great contribution. And in fact, going forward, that also was a winner at the community award. So definitely something you guys should build out more. Completely make a premium looking version out of this, and that's a very awesome contribution. Any last feedback?
Yes, I think this kind of tool are really interesting. Like being able to build a plugin for different systems is a very nice way to scale and get growth, because then it's just install and it spreads. So I think it's cool to put the focus on that kind of tool, making plugins for different platforms. Coinbase, sorry, not Coinbase, the Shopify or this kind of stuff. It's worth taking a look at this because there are lots of things to build. So yeah, that's a cool project.
Okay, let's now move to the community award. And the community has chosen. They basically picked, they could vote on all the projects and they could pick whatever project they want. And we distributed 40,000 USD in LUKS-E across the first top community voted projects. And they are LUKSO. We are very happy about that. WordUp got a lot of votes as well. Big community behind the WordUp community group. Recovery.social, definitely well deserved as well. Keys Protocol, SDAO, also strong community. LUKSO fam support you can see here very strongly, but also MuseBoard, as an inspiration of something, like very sophisticated looking that will be around in the future in LUKSO, in the LUKSO world. So I think great pick. I think some of the wallets could have also won, especially that one wallet we have there. But yeah, great picks. Definitely LUKSO. LUKSO, sorry. So congratulations to all the projects from the Community Choice Award winners. And like we showed in the beginning, everybody who voted in this will also get a voting NFT. Everybody who participated gets a participant NFT, and you guys winners get, your nice little like glowing hat with your winner number in it. So we have now a little bit time. If someone from the project that won wants to come on stage and say something, have a little bit of a feedback, or just want to talk open to the community, feel free. This is your moment. I think you can just raise your hands and you get put up the stage, and you can say a few words if you want to.
And just to go over how to raise your hands for those who need help, there should be a button that allows you to raise your hand. There's like a little 4 marked boxes, and you can click on it. It will allow you to raise your hand. And if you're one of the winners, I can bring you up on stage and you can tell us a little bit more about your project.
Yeah. So many chat messages here.
All right, I'm bringing up Karen.
Hey guys.
Karen, can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you guys.
Perfect.
We're going to on our video real fast. My name is Karan, and I have Tador with me. We both worked on Gateway Relay. We want to address the community and thank everyone for thank the judges and everything. Tador, you want to say a few words?
Yeah. Thanks, Karan. I just want to say thanks, guys. Thanks for having us be part of the hackathon and looking over the project. We're really excited to continue to grow the project and continue to work on it. We have a lot of things planned, such as our focus is really bringing in new users that haven't really been introduced to blockchain at all, and having a path forward for them to actually interact with the blockchain. So we have a couple of things on our roadmap that we're developing out and working on that are going to help facilitate that. And I guess I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I will say we do have a Twitter at Gateway Relay, where you can find, we have a pinned tweet with our documentation if you want to learn more. We're also on the Discord server, and we will soon be launching our own Discord server just to help facilitate the Relay community. So yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
Awesome. Thank you for doing this. And especially the Relay services, they're the backbone of, the mainstream onboarding to blockchain. So this is, hyper important to have this, to do this. It probably will be quite a lucrative business model if you do your little, catching, whatever you do under the hood. So yeah, very awesome to have you guys participating. Thank you so much. And
Cool.
Gloria, maybe you can put always the speakers on the big screen, because I see Callum as the big person here.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do that right now. I'm going to try to see if I can fix that. So I'm not quite sure if I can do that while we're live.
Right.
Congrats, Karan. Congrats to you all. I think the next one coming up is Sage.
Callum is in the middle here. Callum, you have to mimic the speech.
Yeah, I feel a bit under pressure now.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hey, yes.
Sweet. My name's Sage. I'm from Keys Protocol. I wanted to start off by saying thank you guys for all of the work that you do at LUKSO and around the community. And thank you for putting on this hackathon and allowing us to finally participate and start building. I wanted to then give a shout out to our team. We put in a lot of work. Shout out everyone that helped on that, and then shout out everyone in the Keys community for really pushing us in that community vote. Thank you guys for second place, and we look forward to continuing our work in the future.
Awesome. Thank you, Sage. Thanks for your contribution. Okay, anyone else from the projects? Carlos. from LUKSO. Amazing. I just met him like yesterday at this one event.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Fabian, just a correction, it was not me you met, probably was Samuel or Antonio. Guessing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I just want to say thank you, for LUKSO for the hackathon and for the chance to connect and meet with everyone. It was awesome to get to know everyone from the community. I want to say, that it was a hectic summer for all of us. I'm proud of, what we achieved, what the team achieved, and that the plan for now is to keep building. We absolutely believe that LUKSO and the LSPs will, bring about a huge potential in the crypto scene, and we know that it's only a matter of time until people realize that. That's how we work, and it's our belief. So we're gonna keep building and grinding, and hopefully do something that enhances even more the user experience for everyone interested in LUKSO. Yeah, and lastly, just a shout out for all the community. If you want to hang out with us, drop by our Discord as well. We've been getting a lot of engagement on Twitter, which is, feels really good to see validation from everyone. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys again.
Thank you, Carlos, for the contribution. I think LUKSO is definitely something that kind of like, probably the Etherscan of the future for normal people. If you, like, this will be the place where you can like follow and watch what's happening in the decentralized, UP world. So definitely looking forward to using that in the future.
Yeah. Thanks, Fabian.
All right. So next up, I have Zane from Fed. Let's see, Zane. I'm going to bring Zane up from Feedhead.
Cool. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, it was a really fun hackathon. I had a great time, a lot of interesting things there. And so, yeah, I just wanted to say, like, it was a blast. And one of the things I found most interesting was like the 725 loaded as a smart contract. I feel like smart contract accounts are where the future's at. So it was really cool to see that be sort of a first-class citizen. And with Feedhead, part of the vision is that if you have an NFT, then like all of the NFTs actually belong in the same collection. So you can then create a whole feed. And so being able to use the 725 as a place to set data for that feed and eventually view that as like a whole vertical. So like everyone could collaborate in that space was like really interesting to be able to like think that, oh, I can just trade this around and then someone instantly has access to curate the rest of the feed and all that kind of thing. So it was
trading feeds.
Yeah, trading access to a feed, right? So it's like a TCR, but it's like less granular because like you just have this macro thing to deal with. You don't have to like do a whole bunch of other things. And then you can just start throwing data on it. So it's kind of like an interesting like take on it that's only made possible by sort of doing the 725 and the 7 and the LSPA, because then you can imagine whole groups of people owning just the NFT as like a 725. So it's like got this nice layer of extraction and turtles all the way down. So I just wanted to say, hey, community, I'm around. I'm going to be like jamming on various things. Yeah, cool. And thanks. It's a great experience.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Zane. The next one that we have coming up is Leadfoot NFTs.
Hey crew, can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Fantastic. Yeah, just want to say thank you to LUKSO. This is insane. It's been an absolute wild ride so far. I want to thank all our community, the Leadfoot community, all the community members, our members who have bought our digital assets, If those of you don't know, we've got a lot of digital fashion assets out at the moment. And we've been sending them across L14 super manually. But now it looks like we're going to have the opportunity to do this on mainnet legitimately. So that's like hyper exciting. I want to say thank you to the Keys DAO crew, Ethelorian, Alt Anonymous, Turtle, who else we got there? Kriegel, all of you guys, Aota, Sage, everyone who's made this possible, and sort of like they acted as an incubator at the start of the project. Also, Fabian, you specifically, like back in the day, yeah, you really helped guide me a lot. When I first sort of like got the idea of like how smart contracts were going to completely revolutionize the music industry and the fashion industry and the industries that I work in. So yeah, definitely was a big help early on. What you guys are doing is so inspirational, and it's a pleasure to have yeah, built something, and looking forward to building something in the future with you guys. It's super special. Yeah, artist tokens. I just coined in YouTube LSP 701. It's going to be the first LSP 7 extension. But I don't know, you probably have something else in mind.
I think we need to put a dot there, like 7.
Okay.
Dot or 1 or something like this. Otherwise,
cool.
you know, you will end up at the number 701 later on, and then we have a conflict.
Well, yeah, maybe we can all decide that together. But yeah, it's super exciting. Yeah, Upturn project. Check us out on GitHub. Follow me on Twitter, leadfoot_NFT. All our socials, they're super handy for information. You can go in our Discord server and become a member. Yeah, we're all about tokenizing artist rights and essentially, yeah, trying to create, consolidate the rights of digital asset catalogs all in one artist token. There's a lot to it. It's super confusing, but I can't wait to like explain this to you all along the way. And I'm still undoxed, as you can tell by my display picture, but those of you who hunt would probably find out who I am pretty easily. Some of you probably already do. But yeah, thank you everyone, and thank you LUKSO. Love you all.
Awesome, thank you, Leadfoot. You have been around the community a lot. We have quite a core community that, like, you know, you always see the same names appearing in all places. Awesome. Yeah, AJ.
Hello, how are you doing? And I want to say that it was very fun hackathon. I have done lots of hackathons in the last 20 months, and this was so much. The products were actual products. The outcomes was really great, and I think the reason was the LSPs are actually very useful. It's like they are solving some real core problems of the mass adoption of blockchain space, and I was like trying to create something that is useful for community. And
which was your project again? Can you remind us which was your project?
Dupe.
dApp.
Yeah, and I'm really happy. Thank you for judging, and I really enjoyed participating in this hackathon.
Awesome, thank you so much. Thanks for the positive feedback. Yes, I mean, that's the point why, you know, we invented them, because they actually are completely important. You know, people have a lot of struggles in the Web3 space, and one of the reasons why we haven't been moving to mainnet with all the attention and all the value in there is because it's just too hard to use. I think it's too complicated, too scary, and I think, like, you know, these standards fix that, all of that. So we now need to make it, you know, appealing to use, right? And we need obviously the mainnet as well. And then, you know, it goes very interesting. Normal people are able to access blockchain finally.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, AJ.
Thank you.
And
Okay,
it looks like,
Mincy.
yes.
Please always say your project so we have a reference.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I go by Mincy. I built Marble Wallet. Yeah, just wanted to say, huge thank you. Such an honor. I was very delighted to see that the team enjoyed my project and just had a very phenomenally fun time hacking. I'm sure every dev here agrees, but as much as we were creative, I just want to say the shout out to LUKSO team because those 2 workshop sessions from John and Yamin were truly phenomenal. Like a very clear breakdown of the standards, the tools, libraries, and I think very rare to see high caliber Solidity devs with strong presentation skills. So I was really impressed by that. Docs were extremely clear with diagrams. I loved all of that. ERC 721JS, that was a lifesaver, and all the example dApps. I think Hugo, probably and the folks built that. Those were very helpful. So, and I mean, obviously, I don't even need to mention, but Fabian, the man, the myth, the legend. I was already a big fan of ERC 20 and EIP 1193, and it was very exciting to see, this whole new set of Lego blocks LSPs that came out, and just very bullish about LUKSO. And I love the direction with the whole creative economy instead of building another chain for helping degens ape into more DeFi things. So, had a fun time. Thanks so much again. Very, very excited to kind of get back to the drawing board and continue building this. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks so much. I mean, your contribution is definitely awesome. I mean, wallets is still, the buying, holding, and selling is, and the asset holding still and a very important factor, especially when we're in this transition phase from the token to the more social stuff. Even then, it will be very important. So a wallet is a very needed thing, and you definitely did an amazing contribution in that. So amazing. Thanks for your contribution. Very, very appreciated. Really, really well presented, by the way, as well. And thanks also for the feedback.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. I don't see any other hands raised or any other presenters. So, there's one more. Hold on.
Hey, everybody. Just wanted to reach out from the LUKSOverse to thank everyone from the community for voting for us. And also just to spread the word, if you don't know what LUKSOverse is, we're a news aggregator with the mission to sort of hopefully have a one-stop shop for to send your friends and family who don't know about LUKSO to be able to link to documentation, LUKSO news articles, community information, and soon we'll be launching some really cool, in-depth interviews and articles. We're kicking off with Dennis Lisk and the District VR here pretty soon. So thanks for everyone for the community for supporting us, and look forward to more, great things coming from the LUKSOverse. We're going to keep on building it bigger and better. So thanks a lot to everyone, and congratulations to everyone in the hackathon. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for the positive feedback. I mean, by the way, we always are looking for really good people to join LUKSO. I mean, we have a job opening, and even if there's not maybe a specific job opening, but you really have what it takes and you have the skills, always reach out. Nathan from Atlanta. We have a strong American community too. I mean, in terms of devs, I think it's quite a lot of them.
Hey guys, my name is Nathan. I'm here from the HoloView team. Had a blast participating in this hackathon. It was really cool to kind of take the tech that we've been working on and try to incorporate it with the blockchain and building on LUKSO. Really cool what you guys stand for and what you're trying to do, pushing a creative economy and bridging the gap between digital goods and real life. And yeah, I was excited to come in and build something that could kind of push that narrative forward, and very grateful to be here. And I'm glad that you guys liked our project. It was a great time, and I can't wait to continue building on LUKSO in the future.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Nathan. I can recognize the room, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. All right. If there's no one more, then
I don't see any other ones. I just wanted to give kudos, Fabian, to there's one more person. So let me pull them up, and then I'll give my kudos after that.
Amazing.
Hello.
Hi, Pico.
You're here.
Oh, hello. Thank you so much. I just wanted to say that the team in Newsboard is super proud of having been participants in this hackathon. It was quite a ride. We loved the whole journey. Shashank from India and Adai and myself had quite a lot of strange timing conversations because of the timing differences, and that made it even more fun. All the standards are absolutely mind-blowing. The more you just dive into them, the more possibilities you find. So any project probably has loads of other ideas just around them, and they will grow into really interesting premium examples of what LUKSO can be. And that's very interesting to see how that develops. In terms of Museboard, you guys, when you presented it, you were wondering, and all the images shown there are actual NFTs on the L16 testnet. So all that was minted. And we pretend that at some point it will allow anyone to use Museboard even though they don't own any leaks or anything, not even those NFTs. So it's something that will allow you to use NFTs regardless of ownership and in a gasless way. So you just use the platform.
Yeah.
So welcome the masses.
Exactly.
And thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Fico. Awesome. All right.
Fabian,
If there's no one else,
have one thing. While we have you and Alex in the same room, just wanted to see if you could share, any experiences you had with Alex when you reflect on your time back at Ethereum. Any tough challenges, funny stories you can share with the community for fun.
Yeah, I mean, Alex, we see your screen, I think. Or what is it? Or it's the it's the camera, or something like this. I don't know what it was. Yeah, Alex, you still here? We just saw the screen, but now it's
I'm still here. It's just you just video the video.
all of the hardware, all of the. So Jonathan, your question or your ideas, like share like our experience at Ethereum, like how.
Yeah, like back in the day. Any funny stories or challenges you faced together.
There were a lot of funny stories. I mean, I don't remember hackathons, Alex. Do you remember any hackathon? We didn't really do hackathons. I mean, this was a thing that just came like in 2016, 17 later than like the whole hackathon everywhere.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so I can share a story on how I met Fabian, which I think is funny. I was working on. I started working with Jeff. I think I was like the third member of the team, and I was like and he look, hey, you gotta do a browser. And then at some point I tried doing it with their native UI, and I said, look, Jeff, we need to hire someone who can understand this whole make everything in a browser thing. And then he said, you know what? There's this weird guy that keeps showing up in the Berlin office. He was in a presentation. I think you should talk to him. And then that's how that's how I hired Fabian early in the beginnings. But the funny thing about Fabian is that he at no I hired him, but at no point he was always the boss, right? It felt like from the moment on he was like, who are you, Alex? You're it's great. And he was, and one of the things I remember is that he was so fast at building anything that we were like, I think we met first time in Amsterdam, and he was like, oh, I think we should do something cool for Amsterdam. We are going to get all the team together. and he just built, I think in a week, a chat application, just using everything that we had there, the Swiss, whatever was working with Whisper and Swarm and
Whisper, yeah,
Whisper.
Basic. What's the Whisper?
Yeah, weird. And like in a week, he hacked together a chat app. And we had a lot of fun talking, and I think it was the first time that we got all the team together, and we were like, you know what, we can actually make something out of it. So this whole Ethereum thing, I think it's going to work. And he was so fast at building this stuff that at some point I thought, you know what, I think what we should do is that this Mist thing is going to be easy, right? We're going to build it in a few months. And then me and Fabian, we can just spend like 1 month building app. Like we're going to spend one month building a chat app, and then 1 month building a file storage upload. And then it just felt that it's going to be easy. Like we spend 1 month doing an exchange, and then it will be live, right? And I think it just shows how much we severely underestimated the amount of work that needed to be done to get a blockchain off the ground.
Yeah. I mean, I fully agree with that. I mean, there's actually two things. I mean, one thing is that Alex made this. He made this video, that you can still find on YouTube, which basically explains, the Mist browser concept. And we haven't in Ethereum even today, even build 10% of the stuff that was in that video. And even the Mist browser was never even getting close. The funny thing is, this video alone is a hyper inspiration for everybody who thinks building something around universal profiles, because it has literally at least 20 things that can be now built on universal profiles quite straightforward, easily. And it's still a total gold, that video. So just Google, Ethereum Mist browser something, and it's like the rundown in one of these mock-up tools. And I mean, literally, now this can be done. And the other thing I remember, and it was interesting, is when we went to Amsterdam, Jeffrey said we should not expose keys. We should only use, smart contracts for accounts. And the thing was, I felt that he's right, but I also felt that there was no way we could even do that, because we would have to literally convince people in the Ethereum Foundation to subsidize, users or something like this. And we didn't even have a standard. There was not even a single smart contract standard at that point in time, and let alone an account smart contract standard that would be
we barely had. We barely had a multi-sig working. Right, there was a single multi-sig that the foundation would use, and then it had a ton of UI issues there. It was super complicated to use, so there wasn't even a multi-sig. Not about the standard. There was barely any multi-sig codes out there.
Yeah, I mean, a multi-sig. This is on the end what we used, and the thing is, we tried to do it by putting that multi-sig into the Wisp browser as the main wallet that people never understood why I have to create this extra smart contract wallet, and it was. I mean, it was challenging to explain people, and I mean, some people, even got them. I don't know, still have some money in these wallets, stuck today because they did something wrong or whatever.
Because there's no really a big point on having a multi-sig if all your wallets are on the same. If you're just keeping all your wallets and all your keys on the same computer, there's no point in even making the multi-sig, right? And that point, Mist would only run on desktops, right? I think it only makes sense to think about a universal profile if you're also thinking about multi-device, right? If you also have one of your keys in your computer, another is in your device, in your iPad, maybe the other is in your phone. Maybe you have a key that is stored on a watch someday in the future when watches have more powerful EOSs that allows you to store keys on them. And so that's often that's one of the reasons that where you can dream about something and make a nice video about it, but then it takes so much work to do it, because suddenly you need to wait until you have 5 different platforms that everyone is using for computing, and you have your app running or some version of that app running all of them before it even makes sense for you to start really talking about a smart contract universal profile.
it was way too early at the time. I mean, obviously unthinkable. I mean, we barely figured out how to use smart contracts in the first place, let alone how to build a dApp or even how dApps should even work in the first place. So we had to invent every single piece, that literally Ethereum uses today as the default. So yeah, by no means, was any of this possible. But, now years later, really thinking about this, how could a smart contract-based wallet work and all of this stuff, and really just by accident getting into this, because 7 to 5 was something I didn't do with the goal of ever, even doing that standard myself. I just put it out there because I had this idea and I thought I need to put it somewhere. Never thought that I will have to complete it on the end. But now, now things are super apparent to me, because it solves literally Jeffrey was right to make it short, right? He literally, and they even Gavin and Jeffrey, both of them, they already got it very early on how it should be done, but it took years to even get to this point. And I think now with the universal profile, the LSP 0, 7 to 5 account, and the key manager and all of this, we literally have now all the building blocks to make a quite sophisticated smart contract-based account system, including even pay for your gas and all of this stuff possible. And because we are on a new network, we have even the ability to subsidize this, create these accounts for users until there's enough relay services that give you that stuff for free. And then you literally have now that kind of call it how Swiss Army knife that can do anything, and it can literally attach any kind of information and any kind of protocol. So plenty of the ideas that Alex put in that video are now totally doable. With account verification, user verification, reputation on the user, on apps having universal profiles, having a reputation when you use apps, proper decentralized login where the app authenticates and the user authenticates, right? Not just looking at like an HTTPS domain name and hoping you're on the right page. Like everything of this can be now built, and literally this video is gold as an inspiration. So for anything you want to build, just watch that video. Like half of that stuff, 80% of that stuff's not even built yet. But yes, like you said, Alex, things take way longer. I'm sometimes very surprised how long it takes for the public to understand even certain basic concept like a token or like DeFi or now like NFTs.
Being right but being too early is also a way of being wrong. It's one lesson that I think we get it from here.
Yeah, yeah, but, or it's inspiration for the future, right? Then.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I would like to give a congratulations on everyone who participated on the hackathon, and I think I saw a lot of great projects there, and I saw a great technology behind universal profiles, and I'm excited to keep following it.
Awesome.
And that's it for me. I will have to go. But thank you for inviting me.
Also, before we close, I also want to thank everyone on the LUKSO side who made this happen. So also some in the shadow, like Jonathan and Clara for organizing everything. Also everyone in the UP team. It was a busy week for the builders, but also for us, so providing all the supports as much as we could, making the updates and everything. And it's super nice that everyone put efforts into this. So we also are happy that this comes to an end because it was a busy month. So yeah, thanks everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the judges. On the end, like judging took a lot of time, so don't underestimate the judging process. There were like 74 projects. Thanks for everyone who participated in great project, even if your project didn't win. It was a great contribution, like at least 90% of them. And we are very happy with the outcome. I think it inspires a lot of people. You're the first one who builds on these kind of standards, so maybe that has a big impact. Definitely has a big impact in the future. And then you're like Alex and me, where we just made up stuff, at the time where we were the only ones doing it. So yeah, looking forward to all of this, where this will go. And thank you, Alex, Hugo, Jean, Yaman, and let me scroll down, Callum and Jonathan, definitely for organizing. Thank you so much. And also Clara, who is not here, and everybody who really made this happen under the hood. Lots of work, such a hackathon. Great contribution. Thank you. Thanks again, Alex, for participating. There's one missing, Jake, right? He couldn't make it, but he also judged, and he's the universal page guy. So also very awesome project. Thank you everyone for participating. Very, very cool.
Yeah, I will have to just also acknowledge, like, it's a huge thanks for my part to this team, to the LUKSO team, to the community, and to the participants. This was probably one of my favorite hackathons that have gone on all year, and I do about 50 of them. So kudos to you all. It made it extremely, extremely enjoyable, and I can't wait to do it again. The projects were amazing to look at, and yeah, it made this whole, your community is a great community. It made this whole process be really, really fun. So kudos to you all, and kudos to the LUKSO team who were diligent in like making sure this was really smooth. To Jonathan, to Sarah, to Clara, to Mike, to Colin, and to everyone who led any of the sessions. It was really, really great. So the only ask I have are for the winners. I'm going to drop the link to the actual YouTube to the YouTube that's filming right now. And if in the comments you can leave your contacts or like a link to the project, so if anyone else in the future is looking at this, they have a way to come and take a look at your projects again or follow up. That would be my only request. And other than that, I would love to see these projects continue to live on. So back to the LUKSO team. I have nothing else to say. If you have anything else to say, Fabian, you can close it out.
I mean, thank you again. Definitely great to this. There will be another build up, right? Obviously, there's a number one. There will be probably plenty of build ups going forward. They will be not that frequent, right? We still have to do other things too. But if you have a great idea, inside the build up, that's a great chance. Even outside of the build up, there's a lot of chances. Also, there will be a grant program coming in the future. So projects, that really have a good outlook of being a very useful tool for the community, they have a high chance of getting a grant. Once we're opening this up, that also takes time to process, so don't storm us with that. But yeah, definitely a lot of projects here that probably are very grantable that we saw already. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks, Gitcoin, for doing this with us. Definitely a very fun and sophisticated project hackathon. It's definitely a step up from our first one. So let's see how number 2 goes.
Yeah, looking forward to it. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone, and we shall see you again in the future. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.